What's happening, YouTube? Cowboy here, and we're back with another class build video. This time around we're going to be taking a look at level 61 0. So, as you know, previously I was a big fan of Bloodshed, and now that we're able to get points split between two trees in full, we're going to be doing a Bloodshed Cunning combo build. Now, the obvious reason for this is there is amazing synergy between Many Must Fall and Death Blossom. The basic reason behind that being that every time we kill somebody with a melee attack through Many Must Fall, it's going to allow us to redeploy our Kunai. So, obviously, this ends up being a lot of fucking Kunai if there's a bunch of enemies to kill. Whereas with Critical Ascension, on the other hand, same thing's not true. I mean, you could argue that, you could go sniping and throw a Kunai out and then shoot something for a bunch of damage, but, I mean, honestly, as tough as enemies are in Ultimate Vault Hunter, I just don't find it that useful. Maybe against a boss, if you can sit down your scope and stare at him the whole time, it could be worthwhile, but fuck that shit. We're going for Bloodshed. So, similar to before, obviously, this is basically an identical build to the previous video, with the addition of the points over in Cunning, but Killing Blow and Iron Hand, I mean, melee damage, max health, melee damage against enemies that are low, no downside. Execute, obviously necessary, so we can go from enemy to enemy. And then, of course, follow through, just because every time we kill, more melee damage, more movement speed. Now, the one thing you'll notice that's different is I have Backstab here instead of Grim. Now, while the Deception cooldown rate that we get from Grim is awesome to have, the shield regeneration is not. And the reason for this is, in testing, what I ended up doing is switching up to a Rubi and Love Thumper combo. And I tried the Law and Order, and I just found that it wasn't as useful as the Rubi Love Thumper combo now. I mean, you still do good damage, but the thing about Rubi, if you're unaware, is similar to Moxie weapons. As long as you have the Rubi, any elemental damage that you do whatsoever will be converted into health by a percentage. Now, the Rubi is unique in that, whereas most Moxie guns that heals around like 2-3%, the Rubi it's at 12%. Now, you take that and combo it with the Love Thumper, which, as you can see, has 150,000 Roy damage. That's also explosive. What ends up happening is anytime your shield's down, you melee something and you explode its face off and heal to full, just about. So, I mean, obviously, you get a ton of Roy damage, and the biggest benefit of the Thumper, as you can see, is the recharge delay is almost at 4 minutes. So, basically, when your shield goes down, that Roy damage isn't going anywhere. Like, unless you happen to die and get back up through a last stand, your shield's going to stay down for the duration of the fight you're in. But with that being said, obviously, having a kill skill like Grim, it's going to be going against us, because having that regeneration constantly coming into effect, it's going to, it basically hard counters the entire point of having a Roid shield. So we ended up skipping Grim and got Backstab. I mean, 40% extra damage if you can get behind something. If you can't, oh well, don't worry about it. Resurgence, obviously, still just not that beneficial. I mean, it ends up being a 20% heal when we kill somebody. We're going to be healing way more than that with just basic melee strikes. Like the wind, there's no downside to 15% melee damage. We're constantly moving. And then, obviously, Many Must Fall, because every time we kill someone with melee, we redeploy Deception. And upon redeploying Deception, Unforeseen reprocs, and additionally, Death Blossom comes back into play, and we can throw out 5 more Kunai. So, now into the Cunning tree. Obviously, we're still running a Legendary class mod, so with the 5 points we get to each category, we made sure to drop 1 point into Fast Hands, and 1 into Headshot. If you can get 6 out of 5 in something, you might as well. But Counter-Strike, I mean, not a lot of stuff gets close enough to hit us, but if it does, we're going to bitch slap it, and it's going to hurt. Ambush, obviously, because they're going to be looking at your Deception, not at you. Unforeseen, because it constantly comes out. Rising Shot, because we're going to be bitch slapping stuff. Might as well get a melee damage stack going. And Deathmark works wonders this time around. I mean, before it was great, because every time we'd melee something, we'd get Deathmark up on it, and then, the first hit didn't kill it, the second one sure as hell did. But now that we can use Kunai continually while we're in Deception, it just makes Deathmark all that more brutal. And then Innervate, I mean, obviously, we're going to be in Deception for the majority of our fights, so, 4% health regeneration, and then on top of that, that movement speed, it's sexy. So, and then finally, of course, Death Blossom. I mean, I wasn't as big of a fan of it before, but I've been playing around with it a little bit more, and I'm starting to grow a liking to it, and On top of that, everyone had a hard-on for it, so you'll enjoy it. But going into items briefly, like I said, the Rubi and the Love Thumper, they end up working just beautifully for this combo. And another thing that's nice is both of these items, they're quest-based items, so you know it's not going to take you hours of farming to get them. Now, obviously, if you can get one of the rubies that has the evisceration, the 50% melee damage, that's what you're going to want. And as for Love Thumper, you're going to want one of the Love Thumpers that has like the immunity to whatever. It doesn't matter what element, but basically if the Love Thumper has an immunity bonus on it, it means it's like a Maliwan variant of it. And by being a Maliwan variant, that's going to increase the roid damage as much as possible. So you want to find one of these. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, corrode, burn, electric. You'll just find that the ones you get that have immunity, they have higher roid damage. Now, an easy way to do this to make sure you know you're going to end up getting a good one, and the same thing can be said for the Rubi, is basically save your game before you turn in these quests. And when you turn it in, if you don't get one that you want, restart the game. Turn in the quest. If you don't get one you want, restart the game. And you can just do this as many times as you want. I mean, people did similar. They did the same exact thing with I'm trying to remember what it was. Whatever that shitty pistol was that it ended up being, you could still use it with the B and do millions of damage. But same concept. Basically, you can just continually restart your save. Well, not restart your save, but restart your game, reload the save, and you know keep turning in the quest over and over until you get a specific weapon variant that you want of what you're trying to get. Aside from that, I finally ended up getting my Norfleet, and as you can see, the damage on it is just fucking absurd at level 61. But I mean, got my hands on one, might as well use it. Got a new Volcano, still my all-time favorite sniper. Just melts faces. And then of course I pulled the Butcher off the Siren because it's the Butcher. Takes care of business. As for the grenade, I find the Quasar to actually be really useful on this build. I'm using it on more and more characters, and the main reason for that is because it groups people up. It makes it really, really easy to, you know, if you decide you're going to go sniping, it's useful there because it'll pull them into your sniping vision. Even with a build like this just because they're grouped up, it's going to let you shoot between people really, really fast, and then you know take advantage of execute and many must fall to continually get your kills, keep throwing your Kunai, and stay in deception longer and longer. As for the relic, I ended up going for the Blood of the Ancients. An alternative choice would be something that increases melee, and I was trying out with Might of the Seraphs, and I ended up going for Blood of the Ancients instead. And you could just as easily get a Vitality relic and do the same thing. Basically, the reason I went for this was, with the roid damage you're doing, you're hitting so hard with melee that most enemies you're just going to kill instantly. I mean, bosses and stuff that are badasses, they might take 1 or 2 hits depending on if you get a critical. I mean, I've been seeing critical hits hit for, you know, between 2 and 3 million damage. Especially if you have slag applied, it can go higher than that. And basically, because these enemies hit harder, I found that having that extra health was going to be more beneficial than the extra melee damage. So, I mean, both are viable choices. I like having that extra bit of health because I already have a ton of healing coming in, so I might as well increase my survivability, especially considering that I don't have a shield to really rely on, since that's going to be down all the time. But with that being said, let's get into the action. We have Mr. Bullymong here, and just to show you a difference in the melee damage. Alright, so this is, you can see right there, only 507,000. Not all that good. Oh, you put me down, you little shit. Oh god, my Norfleet put me back down. Okay, so we need to get rid of our shield here so we can actually take advantage of the benefits. Okay, shield's down. We're going to run around for a second until we get Deception. That's probably the hardest thing about this build, is just surviving for a second once you get your shield down. So shield's down. Where's our friend at here? Yeah, and you can see the damage that's coming out now. Much higher right there. That looked like, I couldn't even really see what number we got. Let's see if we can actually catch a visual of the number. There we go. Almost 3 million. 2,988,000 damage from a melee attack. So, yeah, it gets pretty brutal. And on top of that, that wasn't even including the Kunai, which, you know, we could get a chance of slagging our enemies with that. So, we're going to head on over here. I've been I feel like all the old videos I always went to Lynchwood, but I've been saving like specific side quests that I've always found enjoyable to go do for these videos. So we're gonna go do a little bit of symbiosis just because there's a ton of guys that spawn and it's an entertaining one to do. So like this guy, yeah, you're dead. And, oh, as you can see, I was able to redo the kunai there, but I mean the melee damage is just absurd. Stuff is dying so fast, it gets pretty ridiculous. I'd like to find a big old group of guys. I don't know if they're gonna. Oh, there we go. Back up, bitch. You can see you can pretty much just like get up in the face of your enemies and just beat them to death. Come here, you little shit. Like I said, every time you get a melee kill, you can redo your kunai, and that gets pretty ridiculous, especially if there's a bunch of enemies. You know, if there's a badass in particular, you can, you know, just toss all your kunai out into the badass and then focus your melee attacks on other enemies. Get out of here with your shotgun. I mean, given this is still the start of the game, one thing you should remember is in Ultimate Vault Hunter, these enemies they all scale throughout the game, so I mean stuff is going to be just as easy to kill. Real quick, just to show you the difference, that a strength relic is viable. I'm going to slag this guy up ahead of time. Oh no. This is why we have our North Fleet. Oh no. Come on, get the reload off. There we go. Alright, so we're going to let him hit us for a little bit, lose our shield. Another thing you can do if you're just trying to lose your shield, you can always just like hit a couple barrels. That works just as well. And you can see like the damage is there, but I don't know. I feel like the extra health was helping us out more. Where are they at? Oh, there we are. What's up, buddy? Ah, damn it. I hate this controller. I just got a new controller and it's like, it's just like stiff still. Doesn't have that like nice little bit of worn out that my other one had. Still getting used to I guess the extra smoothness that this one has. Yeah, but I mean, needless to say, you chop through enemies pretty fast. But as you can see right here, we have what, almost 191,000 health. We switch back to our other relic, and that climbs up to, what's the final number here? A little bit over 250. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a pretty big difference on health. It's enough to justify the swap, in my opinion. That's why I love the North Fleet. Similar to the other video, how I had the Deliverance. I mean, the Deliverance is still a great weapon to get you up. You can find one. Come on, shoot me one more time. There we go. And probably the one thing to be careful with on this build is obviously your kunai will do enough damage to kill people if you give it enough time. And that's something you got to be cautious about, because if your kunai kill them, you're not getting the many must fall bonus, and then you can't redeception and reuse kunai. So make sure that you are finishing the kill off with melee. Stop running so much, you little shits. Oh man, something burned me. I guess I got lit on fire. And there's no enemies around to get me back up with. Ah, how fail. But, needless to say, I think you guys get the picture. Being able to continually use kunai and hit people for 3 million damage crits that also heal you. It's pretty fucking awesome. So, with that being said, that's it for Zero, guys. Like I said, hopefully you enjoy this build. I mean, the items are easy to get, so you don't have to hunt down crazy broken items like with a lot of my other builds. In terms of what's coming up next, I'll probably have the commando up for you today, possibly, or either it'll be in the next few days. I've been pretty busy lately. And then following that, probably the Gunzerker and then Necromancer. Obviously, with getting to level 61, I gotta hunt down a lot of the gear I used to use, and in particular, the Necromancer is taking long just because I'm trying to hunt down all these electric weapons again, and that's proven to be a bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be. But no worries, I will have the build videos up for you, and of course, there's going to be a Krieg the Psycho video when he's released and I get his ass to 61 and play around with them for a bit and figure out what's awesome with them. But thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to let me know what you think of the build, any suggestions you got, and we'll see you guys with the next build video.